Yo, 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 it's Jeb in his house. Hey, yo, we're going to space, yo. Hey, yo, we're going to space. Rolling on 909s, making money big time. Hustle Uncle Sam on the taxpayer's dime. We're the spacemen in our space bridges. We gone from rags to buku riches. Throw your rockets in the air like you just don't care. Throw your rockets in the air like you just don't care. We a G unit, baby. And don't you forget it. We a G force, homie. That's a G limit. We on fire like a blade of home down. See you later. But before I'm out, let's launch this Cap Simulator. We a G unit, baby. We a G unit, baby.
Hello everybody, the Lord Root here, and welcome back to another episode of G-Limit. So, I guess I was going to start out by saying that we were in rather bad straits earlier, because Bill was really nowhere to be found, at least in the capsule, and so it's important that we at least had some way of getting him back. And I guess now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be trying to land him here on the surface of Minmus. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and land him summarily, because really I want to get this taken care of as quickly as possible. Another thing as well, just before I forget about it, we're going to have a staging error here if I'm not paying attention. So anyway, just some things we could possibly do here. I believe we would be best served if I began bringing this guy over here, like so. I want to, really I want to land in this area here because it's going to be the easiest to land in. And we'll take care of that as soon as we get to Apsis. That is very important for us. It says that is in 49 minutes or so, so I'm just going to time warp over there. Yes, the bug for this was actually fixed past the point. It looks like we're actually going the opposite direction here. It was fixed past the point where I posted the video. And so there's that, of course. There we go, it's only in 11 minutes that way. Yeah, it was fixed in 1.0.4. So, we're going to head down here. And I think we will go ahead and make our descent. I mean, we might as well. There's no point in not doing it. We may rotate a little bit, so I'm going to do this here. That way we do not rotate nearly as much. And then we will put this guy here back into our fuel deposits here. Eventually, I would like to have a better design for this, and I think once we get the science, we will have a much better design. Now, one of the things you may have noticed from the last video is that we have two new parts, and those parts are radiators. Let's just, well, you know what, we're actually fine there, I think. Let's begin pumping the fuel out of this guy. Anyway, I don't know whether or not that's going to have any impact on our landing. I have been putting a heat shield on all of our parts, really, even though the heat shield hasn't been effective. And I think that it's good that I had it, at least here, because it's a problem if we don't. The other thing you'll notice is that our cowling around our heat shield is back, which is a rather nice touch. I like it, at least. Anyway, we should be fueled up here before too long. We have a contract to land, and then to place a flag. I think our RCS is probably balanced enough here, and hopefully that, that caused a little bit of a problem, but not too much of one. Landing on Minmus is really quite easy. In fact, the hardest part I think is going to be that we are not going to land where we originally intended, because we had moved very slightly away from it. Also, there is the problem that we may clip through these mountains as well. Let's see which way we go if we fire this way. Really, I want to be going easternly. And we are back. At least I think we're back. Yeah, we're back. So anyway, we need to do something to get this guy. I think we'll be okay here. We may wish to turn towards the 90. I think that will get us pointed in the right direction. It might help if we actually turn on our engines. There we go. May need to move this guy forward a little bit more, although I think we'll be okay here. Hard to tell, because we may collide with those mountains. I don't really want to take a chance with that. But the good thing about that is that if we land around here, we should easily be able to hit the slopes, which is a pretty hard biome to hit. Alright. We need to be reducing our velocity as soon as we can. Okay, we are back. My old girl's coming to visit me, and she is, I'm on work-related travel right now, so, she's calling me just to let me know she's on the road. Anyway, it's probably time that we get this guy set down. And, I'm just going to try to get as much data as I can here. We are presently in the Midlands, rather than the slopes. And, that is okay, because I'm going for the flats here. It's good to know that the slopes are pretty close by. Okay. Given our distance from the surface, I'm going to let that level out just a little bit. I think we could probably land over there once we're done. And we'll actually plant 2 flags so we know that we visited here. Minmus is not a hard target to land on, by any means. Although I probably ought to begin throttling back up. We have plenty of fuel, and ideally, when we get to the point that we're at, we want to maybe have, oh, I don't know, about 400 in reserve so we can escape back. I'm going to probably finish the mission when we're at 500 or so. Now, of course, the physics are game-changing at this point, and that's somewhat of a problem, because re-entry may be something that we can't tolerate. There we go. I'm just going to bring us down just a little bit. We don't need much in the way of thrust to land. Well, with that having been said, we now have a bunch of science that we can gather. Now, well, we don't have to gather an insane amount of it, but we might as well get as much as we can. I'm not really going to bother transmitting a lot of it, but I will grab ourselves a crew report and send it along. It was a good thing that we went ahead and did that thing with the docking port, because that could be a problem if not. Now, I do not know if we can get out, because it looks like the hatch I thought was going to be obstructed. I guess not. We'll take the temperature. We're not going to be able to redo any of these, unfortunately. Let's get an EVA report. We're not flying over the slopes yet, but we'll store these experiments here. And as for this guy, whoa, I think we can maybe get right under here and maybe, well, we can take a surface sample right now and we'll collect that data. We could have waited to get up into space to do that, but I'm going to plant a flag and get that contract as well. Now, before we move forward, and we'll just say Bill Kerbin, Greater Flats, and that would be on 6/26/15. This is the day gay marriage is legal in the U.S., well, at least across the entire U.S. So, I'm going to get back up into our pod here. I think that would be a good thing. Yeah, it's been on the news quite a bit if y'all haven't been checking that out. Of course, I'm here to talk about Kerbin's space program, I suppose, and not politics, but it is a good day for a lot of people. So it's good to commemorate it with the flag, I suppose. And, yeah. We are, we should really check and see if there's a way that we can get science for I think we had surface science as a possibility, and that is something quite unique. Whoa. Okay, I'm going to restart KSP Okay, we are now back, and a number of things here. Things that maybe we should be looking for. I'm hoping that sooner or later we will end up with something along the lines of escape from Minmus orbit. Fly by the sun. That is tempting. Let's see. Do we really want that, though? I am going to see if we can maybe get a better contract, because I do not really want to leave Bob. Oh, you can't really do anything about that. Well, we can build a solar probe, I suppose, once we rescue Bill back. Scientific data from space around Minmus, I think, is a good thing to get. We will have to fly by the sun, though. I think that's doable. I have started thinking about a craft that we could do with that. We'll just, I'm not going to wait for it to expire, because Bill really should come back. And while I believe that it is going to be very difficult for us to send a Kerbal there, we should send somebody that, or something rather, that cannot die as such. Okay, well, let's maybe get Bill back. I think that that would be an important thing to do. And really, before we do that, I want to hit these slopes over here. I think the slopes are a good thing to hit. So why don't we go over here? Because you know what? I think it's great to have this. I don't want to go too far. But there will be a patch here that we can land on. And we can at least collect a surface sample from. And I think that's probably a good thing to do. And you know what, I guess in reality, we should be kind of careful. This is the more difficult part of this here. We have plenty of Delta V, so I don't really mind doing this. And Minmus Gravity, I think, is going to be able to handle this just fine. Oh cool, we are on the slopes. Or we were on the slopes. Let's go back just a little bit. And let's get this guy landed. Because we do have some science that we can bring. If we had actually had Bob here, that would have been okay. Probably do need to begin the process of slowing on down, just because of the fact that if we don't, then that will mean trouble for us. Now, what's the grade on this? Anyhow, we can check that out by looking at the surface. The grade is 17 degrees. This is a particularly hard biome to hit, because there's really not much of a thing to land on. And we are trying to do this quite cautiously as well. Okay. Pretty high up. And I think, are we still, yeah, we're still traveling just a little bit. Not the best place to be. But we'll grab that science. And I think we will get up into space here. We got ourselves a crew report we can take. And let's just check. We had science data from the surface. Okay, so we already had that. We can grab this guy here. The slopes would be good to have. And let me just turn off the surface stuff. Normally a grade like this would be utter suicide. It's hard to tell if we're tipping over or not. Yeah, I mean, it looks like we're okay. We have this guy to keep us moving forward. I'm just gonna grab this data here. Let's see, we have the, do we have the surface sample? I guess not, because we have the slopes here, and the other one should be the greater flats. Okay, for now, that is all I'm willing to do. And we'll get ourselves into orbit, I think. That seems like the best thing for us to do. I have to say, this Microlander has gotten us quite a long way. And we're well poised for, I suppose oh yeah, I guess we need to review that report and send it out. And we're in space near Minmus as well. Possibly might want to grab this guy, as we do not have it yet. Okay. Now it's just going to be a matter of us getting into our orbit here. We're still quite inclined, it looks like. But that is fortunately our descending node there. there, 42 by 39. I'm happy with that. And we have 73 meters per second to go. That's more than fine, I think. We can get really anything we want to here. We've already taken pretty much all of the science we can get, because if we look at this guy here, well, we don't have much that we can grab with our current instrumentation. And that'll be unfortunate. But we do have plenty of time here. To get ourselves going. And there we go. Not perfect. We're still inclined by 15 degrees, but I think this will give us a good opportunity if we zoom out to begin plotting our way back to Kerbin, wherever that may be. Okay, that seems good to me. Why don't we just move on out here, I think. If I get this guy targeted here, that would be fantastic. No telling really what the Memis encounter will do to us, although I think, you know, we've forgotten maybe a little bit of science here. No, that's not it. B for barometer. We may or may not have that science, I don't know. Oh, well, one thing, too, while I'm at it, that we've forgotten to get is we've forgotten to get this data here, which is conveniently accessible to us. Let's just take a look at what we have, because we do have a number of things. We have goo, a temperature scan, atmospheric scan, EVA report. Really all of these things here. We got the surface sample, materials study, surface sample. Yeah, it looks good to me. I wish there was an easy way to dismiss all this. But I'll see you when we are getting close to our re-entry point. Okay, here we are. We're pretty fortunate so far, because the way we're landing is going to be pretty good. We're landing... Oh, maybe we might be landing on the nighttime side. I thought we were landing in daylight. Let me just get out here real quick. Grab a quick EVA report. That's above the Highlands. We don't have long to do this, unfortunately. We'll take that data there, because just in case we land in a new biome, we want to have the ability to have that. Now let's see how the atmosphere handles in this new version. Or maybe if the game crashes instead. We're coming in pretty quickly. Not quite the speeds I was expecting. I was expecting somewhere close to, oh wow. We'll use that to bring down our velocity just a little bit. It's important that we are careful about that. This guy is an impromptu heat shield, at least. And there is a ton of lag on my end. which I think will mean that I'm just going to ditch this guy. Oh, no, 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 no. Stay, stay, stay. Oh. I probably should have thought about that, because I do not want that parachute overheating. Let's see, do we have... Oh, we don't have upper atmosphere temperature scans. What about the barometer? We'll just keep that. Still unsafe to deploy. We need to drop down to maybe at least no more Mach 1. It's risky. Now it's safe. So that was about 250 that it became safe to do this. Just log, review the data. Reset experiment. What happened there? I am not completely sure. Unfortunately, that means that we do not have Bill anymore. Which is a bit of a shame. We hit... It's hard to tell where we hit. I think... we should have maybe designed our craft a little bit better. And unfortunately, that's not going to bring Bill back. Well... I guess we are going to have to do something about that, because we probably lost reputation. I guess in the interim, we can, at the very least, do something about that as well. So let's build ourselves a solar probe, and we'll call this guy, unlike Polaris, we'll call this Solaris. And no relation to the operating system, of course. I'm going to unlock these radiators because, why not, really? I mean, one thing for sure is that we're going to fly by the sun. Now, I don't know if that means we have to simply get into interplanetary space, as you might think. My guess is the answer to that is probably no. That should be plenty for us, though. I'm going to stick some small radiator panels on this and hope that the mass is not too great. And in order to get to the sun, we're going to need to do some tricks. Some very nifty tricks, of course, but tricks nonetheless. I'm not going to send too many of these guys out, but what I will do is I'll get some barometric scans and some temperature scans going as well. And we'll see what a flyby would consist of. Now we may, in fact... I mean, this is about $5,000 or so. And I don't think it's asking us to send something to the sun. So it's asking us to fly by, so I don't know if that means send a probe out, which actually seems kinda likely to me now that I think about it. Or maybe it means something completely different. But, yeah. We'll just have to see. We'll make a cheap little probe here. We do not have to return this. At least I don't think. And, where are our fairings? I'm gonna put a little fairing around here. Very simple, and I think this will be just fine. I'm not exactly sure what the radiator panels are for, to tell you the truth. I mean, I have this idea that they will be required to dissipate heat. Let's just do what we can here. Maybe not even go as fast as we were going. We don't really need engineer on here at all. Okay, we are back, and this is a 32-second burn that we are doing. It's going to get us into orbit, and then what we're going to do is, whenever we get to sunrise, we're going to move in towards the sun. Now, I don't know how close we have to get. We probably don't want to get too close. You can actually overheat if you're too close to the sun. And that's a bit of a problem. But, let's see. We're getting close. We're already in orbit. There we go. Not the best orbit, but it works. And, in reality, perhaps I'm a little bit too harsh on myself with that. Let's just come around just a little bit. Give ourselves a few minutes here to get everything set up right. And I'm just going to go full throttle with this. Because that should get us about to where we need to be. Though maybe not quite as close as we'd like. So we'll try that. Now, unfortunately, this is going to take a long time. It's going to take longer than usual, which means that we'll have to do some things about that. I'm going to burn around the 3-minute mark or so in order to do this, and I'm not going to have you forced to watch the entire 21 minutes of burn time. Okay, we are now back, and we're headed towards the sun now. Got about a quarter of a tank left of fuel. We're fortunately able to get out. And I forgot to bind action groups, unfortunately, so this is going to be a bit of an issue. Largely because I will have to remember where things are. But let's get out into orbit here real quick. See if that is enough for a flyby the sun. Or if maybe it wants us to get closer. Okay, maybe not. Let's grab some science while we're out here. We got 14 science. Plenty of electric charge. Let's log the temperature and send it on out. And I guess we could do a maneuvering close to the sign. If we are careful. Something kind of like that, maybe? I don't think it'll be close enough. Well, that'll be okay. I mean, we got our science, at least. Had I thought about it a little bit more, we probably could have done a little bit better. But that's okay. We got the science we needed. If we need to get science from around the sign, we can do that as well. Oh, here we go. We have a contract to fly by Duna. And that's going to be a good thing for us. That means that exploring Duna is going to be a real possibility. And the way I'm going to do this, I think, is I'm going to build 2 probes. We might want to also do some rescuing, but I think if we can get away with it, and we really should have gotten more. Ooh, that's tempting, but no. Surface outpost on Minmus might be kinda cool. It'd be an easy way to make money, I think. And there's a radial decoupler we can test as well. But we don't need to do that, really. Surface outpost on Memnis, I believe, is going to be something that we will want to do. Surface outpost on Duna would be cool too. Just an orbital station around Ike. Let's see. Yeah, so we're getting to the big contracts now. That much is at least apparent to me. Twitch engine. I don't know. We could do that. We definitely want the science. And it wouldn't be hard. Because the Twitch is a small one. But let's begin thinking. We had a fairly heavy launch stack, apparently. What would it take to recover everything? Because I thought that we were coming in fast enough. I don't think that our probe was too fast. Just take out the monitor. You know what, we'll leave it in, actually. Maybe that is an overriding factor. I'm not going to risk any of my Kerbals on this, though. And why don't we just get this thing high up into the atmosphere? Because we have the money to do this test now. And we have to be extremely careful with this, because if it turns out that these parachutes are insufficient, and I believe that may be the case now, then we're in trouble. Let's just get ourselves up to a reasonable height. Maybe Mach 3. Let's figure out... Whoa. Okay, we're probably pretty close to overheating here. I'm going to jettison this guy here. Hopefully that will help. Heating is going to be a bit of an issue. Says we are unsafe. Maybe I should have put a heat shield on this thing, as we are definitely coming in at a very steep trajectory. We may in fact lose this pod. Let us wait until it is safe. So our landing velocity. I have no idea why Bill died. That is a little bit on the peculiar side to me. I'll have to study the video and see at what point we landed. But enough of that. I guess maybe it would be good to do the Mars mission in the next episode at least. I mean, we got some things here. We haven't recovered anything from Minmus yet, unfortunately. But I'm thinking we can at least test some of these guys on the moon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to our Polaris, or our Solaris rather, because our Solaris probe doesn't really have much of a chance of coming back. Okay, maybe not the best still. This thing appears to be slightly unbalanced for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why. Well, I guess maybe I can't really click on anything. I've broken the game. So I am going to quickly get us a moon encounter plotted and hope for the best here. Maybe by testing this thing we will be able to do some things here. This actually is not Solaris Mark 1, even though it is built on the same stack. Okay, let's target the moon. And let's just go ahead. We are somewhat inclined here. I am just going to go straight suborbital with this. And that's going to take, hopefully not very long. I'll show you precisely what happens whenever we burn like this and why it's a bit of an issue. But I'm going to wait until we're about 3 minutes out so I can cut the engine. Or so. I mean, it's... Okay, let's go ahead and do that. So this thing, for some reason or another, cannot control itself. Which means we're probably going to have to keep the engines on low throttle. It's an 18-second burn. The question is, where's the imbalance in this? I don't particularly see why we should be having such issues with it. Maybe if I turn off the gimbling. that'll help. Okay, yeah, I think it's just too much gimbal on this guy. We got enough of it as it is, I think. Those reaction wheels are a little bit too much for it to handle. But with that 15 seconds of burn to get out there, I'm going to burn about now. It's a huge thrust to weight ratio we have to deal with. Really, as long as we can get this guy, well, we'll just have to make an adjustment, I think. Something is not right here. Maybe part of it is the fact that we spun out of control. We can get this guy about as close as we want to, and really, that's going to be the deal. We want to get... We don't really want a suborbital periapsis, but I do want to be on a suborbital trajectory. So we'll come by over here and we will make that happen. Still plenty of fuel. And that's important. We'll come back over here. I think we may have overdone it just a little bit. As, I can't really decide where it's going to go. And we'll just come out to the moon like so. I don't even really know why we have the antenna on here. It isn't necessary. And with something like this, we really just want to come in like so. I'm going to give us about as much time as we can get. I think that's probably a good deal there. We really do need to be careful about this. There we go. We should be suborbital now. I think we could run the test on this engine. That should have given us the science that we need. And money too. Lots and lots of money. There we go. We are completely out of fuel now. And should hopefully hit the ground soon. Coming in at quite a speed. There we go. I don't feel so bad about losing that guy. I suppose at least I shouldn't. Let's see if we got anything else noteworthy here. We've got Hydri. Radio mount drogue chutes. You know, that's actually going to be quite useful because I don't have the drogue chutes yet. I want to use that to my advantage because we're going to need to be able to safely recover Bob, so I'm going to take that. We can always do that later. Let's see what we have left. We have surface outposts that we can use. Space signs from around the moon. I forgot to collect that. Definitely, I think we want to do that. I think our days of orbiting or recovering people from orbit might be over. At least, so it would seem. Let's just grab that little bit of science there. Yeah, I mean, it'll be unfortunate because I do want to actually get more Kerbals, and we should rescue them. But I skipped plenty of opportunities to do that. And we're just a little bit on the, we're not on a very good deal here. See if I maximize our electric charge. There we go. We're now, I might as well get that guy fully charged, because you know what, why not? One thing that I will do, probably this time around at least, is I do plan to grab, one or two more Kerbals here. If we could really... Let's see if we get... Let's plant a flag on Memmis. Yeah, we'll do that for Bill, I think. And other things we might do. They want us to keep on building the surface outpost, which I am not really willing to do. If we get like 10 more sites, we can unlock some of these things, although I don't want to overdo it on that. Let's just see what we do have in terms of goals, because we have plenty of things here. We could get 160 sites and unlock that, which would be really good because we could use it. What do we have here? More docking ports. Radio engines. Next bit of science will be something that we get from over here, unfortunately, and I think that's going to be tricky. Because we might want to, let's see here, both of these requires any. We might be looking at solar panels pretty soon, I think, for this. So that way we could, before we send something out to Duna, we could fit one more instrument on it. That's going to be a tall order, though. And I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to send somebody to, we're going to have to try to send Bob de Minimus despite all of the trouble that we've run into, which means I'm going to have to redesign the lander just a little bit so that it can survive. But that'll be in the next episode, and until then, this has been the iLord Root, and I will see you